Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at one of my favorite semiconductor companies, Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. As we can see, as I am recording, the stock is green even though it's dropping a bit, but there are some kind of recent news that have come out for this company over the past weekend and early today, Monday morning. First, we're going to take a closer look at some analyst updates and what they have to say, specifically why they're upgrading the overall stock. And then I also want to take a closer look at some of the data center solutions that AMD has. And no, we're not going to take a closer look at their CPU products. We actually mentioned that in a previous episode. Today I want to take a closer look at some wins they got in the GPU market, which I do believe is pretty impressive. So let's get started.
I do want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out fool.com/Jose to get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
So we did get two price upgrades today. First is from Baire. They upgrade AMD to outperform from neutral and raise their price target from $65 to $100. We also have UBS upgrades Advanced Micro Devices to buy from neutral and raises their price target to $95 from $75. Remember, AMD's current stock price right now is sitting at $73.78, so this would be some huge gains if they do reach those price targets. At the end of the day, I do want to remind investors that, hey, analysts are looking at the next 12 months, right? They're kind of, even though that might seem like a long term for long-term investors, 12 months is very, very short. I do believe these price targets are definitely achievable for AMD, but I do believe it's just minimal to where this company can be in the next 5 years or so as it continues to grow in numerous spaces. So like we saw, two analysts upgraded AMD. So first, if we take a closer look at the UBS analysts, they are citing ongoing improvements in CPU shipments that could offset weakness in personal computing chips. I'm gonna have to guess here that they probably mean the data center CPU shipments, and that is seeing an overall improvement, especially with the overall general availability of AMD's 4th generation server CPU chip Genoa, which was announced last week. If we take a closer look at Baire analysts, they mentioned noting a strong reception of the group's new data center chip offering Genoa, which launched earlier this month. For those that did not watch my previous video, we saw on November 10th, AMD announced the general availability of the 4th gen AMD EPYC processor. Again, if you want to check out that video, make sure to click the link above. I will post it there. But also, if you are enjoying the episode so far, make sure to hit the thumbs up as it does help me grow my overall audience. If you want to support a little bit more, make sure to subscribe using my link at fool.com/Jose. Finally, if you are here, it means you're most likely a semiconductor investor or curious about the semiconductor market. I do have a weekly podcast, the upcoming #1 semiconductor podcast in the world. Make sure to click it up. The link is also above and on the pinned description. So if we take a closer look, we do know that the data centers represents the largest growth opportunity and the most strategic priority for AMD. I mean, if we take a closer look at their most recent earnings, which was up 29% year over year, $5.6 billion. Tied for first place in revenue segments is the data center market, which was $1.6 billion, up 45% year over year. That was driven by record server processor sales. I mean, if we take a closer look at their segment results, we can see data center market, which was $1.6 billion in revenue, had operating income of $505 million. That's roughly, I want to say, 30% or so. We can see strong margins, especially when you compare it to a loss in client. And we can see gaming, which really had probably one-to-one revenue, the operating income there is so much weaker. So we can see the data center market not only is their highest growth in forms of revenue, it was up 45% year over year, but it is also the one that provides a nice amount of operating income due to the overall high margins this product provides. So outside of AMD's CPU market, they do hit the GPU market. And first, let's take a closer look at AMD. They did present this kind of total addressable market in the long term of things for the data center space. They do believe in the next few years, in the long term of things, the data center space will be $125 billion a total addressable market. And the two main players here are their server CPU, which is $42 billion. And the second is the GPU market. And this is actually bigger with $64 billion. So we can see right now AMD is really trying to grow that server CPU market. They really don't have too many sales in the GPU market, but we can see this is a market that's expected to grow dramatically. It's supposed to be even bigger than server CPUs. And that's where my second news comes in today, where C. Perel, an AMD collaborate to address exascale supercomputing. So for those now, I'm pretty sure that's Silicon Pearl, SI Pearl. So Silicon Pearl is a company that designs a high-performance, low-power microprocessor for European supercomputers and has entered into a business collaboration agreement with AMD. So Silicon Pearl is a company that provides their own CPUs. They are creating CPUs, so they're not teaming up with AMD to get CPUs. Where they're actually teaming up with AMD is so they can bring AMD Instinct accelerators. That is AMD's GPU market. If we take a closer look, AMD is kind of pushing a little bit into the GPU space here. We saw that huge total addressable market. Right now, we are in the AMD Instinct MI200 generation, but in the upcoming months, I do believe we are going to start seeing the AMD Instinct MI300. Again, even though in the future, the GPU and AI market is expected to be the largest segment for AMD, the CPU market still dominates at the moment. If we take a closer look at AMD's most recent earnings transcript, they mentioned that their data center GPU sales were down significantly from a year ago when they had substantial shipments supporting the build out of the Frontier exascale supercomputer. So I do want to say in the upcoming quarters, if they are teaming up with this kind of awesome processor in Europe and kind of start selling more GPUs, I do believe this is also a huge push for the data center market. So again, remember, the data center market is the one growing the fastest. It's the one with one of the highest operating incomes. It's the one, and it's also one that they continue to provide numerous solutions. Not only did they kind of announce their 4th generation Genoa, but now with this great win in Europe with Silicon Pearl, I do believe is going to be another great bullish reason to own AMD. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.